Let's be honest, most leadership programs, they are failing. And it's not because people don't care, whether it's the leader or the worker bee. And it's not because people aren't trying and putting 100% effort in. That's not the reason they're failing. They're failing because people are teaching fluff versus frameworks. So what happens with fluff is in a boardroom, on a whiteboard, on a slide deck, everything sounds perfect. And it sounds absolutely perfect until pressure hits. And the minute pressure hits, everything collapses. And that's the issue. My name is Dr. Philip-Neri. I've been inside elite teams for the past 30 years, either as a member or as a coach/consultant. And these are athletic environments, SWAT teams, special operations, corrections. These are teams that have to function when pressure is at an all-time high. Motivation, it only goes so far. What they really need is cohesion that works when there's a high pressure environment. And that's what no one else is teaching. So here's the truth. In most leadership trainings that you've gone to, I've gone to, it's all surface level stuff, just surface level stuff. How do we communicate? What about this assessment and that assessment? Emotional intelligence. Are we connected with the people? And I'm not saying that that stuff is not important. That stuff is important. But what it doesn't address is when things go wrong and pressure is on. That's the issue. That is the issue. So think about it. Whether you're an elite athlete, whether you're a SWAT team member, actually, even if you're part of an airplane flight crew, right? Pressure for what? The result, the win, or, controlling a situation in law enforcement. Plane, they have 45 minutes before that plane has to push back out and take off, right? These are environments where it's a little bit high stress, and those were different degrees of stress. But these teams, what they don't need is an acronym, right, that they can remember. That doesn't do any good. They need a system where they can trust each other, execute, make decisions under pressure because there's many moving parts. And that's cohesion. That's cohesion. And that's when your team will strive and reach the moon and the stars. So here's the thing. Cohesion isn't a vibe. It's not a vibe. It's not we're all getting along or our atmosphere is family. Again, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's not hitting the root issue. So most programs don't train. They don't train intensely enough. In this two-day retreat, you go through and you got to be in touch with yourself. Again, self-awareness is fine. And they come up with some basic principles. But what you actually need to have a cohesive culture is reps under fire, like intense reps that mimic the situations that are uncontrollable, that have a million variables. That's how cohesion is built, and that's how your team members start having efficacy, which is belief, trust in one another, and they start believing in the group's collective efficacy. So this is done through role clarity, feedback, and again, earned trust, not given, earned trust. So let's go into the world of law enforcement and SWAT team. If you look at the dynamics of a SWAT team and you look at the leadership and you look at their trainings, they're not seminar-based. They're scenario-based. The scenario-based that the team members run reps after rep, after rep, after rep, after rep. There's a lot of feedback. The feedback loop is intense. It's direct. They hold people accountable. They allow for growth. So, it's not perfection. They allow for growth. So people have a learning curve, but there's a standard. And in this standard is where everything gets developed. So same thing in an athletic environment, right? But you don't find it a lot in the corporate boardroom. You don't find that intensity, that structure in the corporate boardroom. And that's part of the reason why leaders are like, well, I thought I had a good culture, but again, when things go wrong, everything dissipates, everything fails because that cohesion wasn't built under pressure. So look, at the end of the day, you don't rise to the level of your training. You fall to the level of your cohesion. Once again, you don't rise to the level of your training. You fall to the level of your cohesion. So if your leadership training doesn't address what happens when things break down, when things go wrong, all these what ifs, right? If it's not addressing that stuff head on, it's not real training. It's just a form of entertainment in this world that is kind of make-believe, and it's perfect. And that's just not the way things happen. It's not the way things happen. So cohesion, understand it's not a feeling. It's a system. And that's what I teach. So if you lead people, whether it's tactically, athletically, professionally, hit the subscribe button, because what I'm offering, what I'm bringing to the world is something very different.